Hello, hello! We're back again. This is our first recording of the season, and we are back with full team. So let me start to say something to my left top. In this case is today's Janiru. Janiru, how are you?
Hello, I'm Janiru. I'm from Colombo, Sri Lanka, and yeah, I'm feeling fine.
You feeling fine, at least because we know already that you are Janiru. I'm pretty sure that the few people that sees the show knows that you are Janiru from Sri Lanka. This is something I say to remember Emilie to say something different. Okay, how are you doing in Sri Lanka? What are you studying this year, or what is happening here?
Yeah, actually, this year is kind of very boring for me because the pandemic is going down, but it's not over yet. Like, I only went 1 day school for this whole year, and that's like crazy.
Only one day.
Yep, 1 day.
That's pretty bad, pretty bad. But you say that the pandemic is going down.
Yes,
That's
and
good.
that's good news.
That's good to know. Finally, it seems that it's gonna happen. Finally. So welcome back, Janiru. So Emilie, tell us about you something new.
Okay, I will refrain from saying I'm Emily from Vancouver, Canada. I will instead say, hi, I'm Emily, a student at the University of British Columbia. That's what I am.
That's perfect because it's different from last year. Very different. So this year you're attending the university. Finally. So, and also I know that you are doing not too much at the university because you are still thinking what you want to do in the future. Tell us about this.
In Canada, or at UBC at least, what we do is we declare majors in second year. So I'm in first year right now. So I'm planning to declare honors computer science, which is just computer science, but you have to write a whole bunch of like theses and like fun things. So yeah.
Perfect. Fantastic. So welcome back. Jan, my friend from Lleida, tell us, how are you?
Yes.
Where are you?
This year I'm not in Lleida. I'm living in Barcelona more off days than in Lleida because I'm studying in the University of Barcelona, double major in mathematics and computer science too. I mean, it's called several things. We can call it computer science too.
So I didn't know that or I didn't remember that your dual major was also in CS.
Yes, I mean, technically it's engineer, but it has several mentions. So when you translate it to other languages, you can call it several names.
Good to know. But today you are at your hometown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, at least I can have spend some time with my family. Yes.
And share a little with us. Thank you for doing that. So let's move around the globe and let's go to India. Hello, Merul. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. What about you?
Thank you for questioning. I will say that. Explain about you first. What are you doing this year and so on?
I'm out of high school now, so our exams are all over, but we have a gap usually where we apply to universities, so I'm right now in that period. And while I'm doing that, I'm working on a few projects, and they're going to be extremely interesting once they release, and I'm hoping that next podcast I would be able to talk about that.
You mean that those projects are secret?
Yeah, right now they are, but it would be public information soon as they would be going open source.
Amazing. You have secrets. You are sharing secret with us. Ooh, that's fantastic. Very good to know. What about the pandemic? Merul, how is the thing going in India?
It's going good. Our vaccination drive for a change has gone extremely good now, where most people have received a single dose at least. In my city, most people are double vaccinated, including all of my family now, and the cases are dropping steadily, which is a good thing.
Nice to know, too, at least. What was the last time we recorded? Maybe 4 months ago?
Yeah, it was before
Yeah.
Google Summer Break.
Before you saw 4 months ago, so it's good to listen that situation has changed and almost everywhere. As you know, I'm Andreu from the Liquid Galaxy project community. I live in Lleida. Before the pandemic, I say I live in Lleida half of my time, and half of my time I'm traveling. So you have to ask me if you call me by phone, where are you located today? But now almost all my time is happening in Lleida. So I am 20 kilometers away from Jan, not too much.
Probably not.
And then, Jan, how is the situation for us here?
Well, I think it's getting quite better. Almost everyone is vaccinated with 2 doses, which helps a lot. And life seems to start getting to normal. I don't know, nightclubs are opening again, bars.
Just yesterday night.
Are opening again. Yeah.
2 days ago.
So I think that's a good sign of normality.
It's been crazy those days, at least here in Spain, with the young people going outside and doing crazy stuff, and it's gonna happen for months. Yeah,
that's the worst thing we can do. Get back again, very close together, and get an outbreak again. But I don't know. At least people are vaccinated, so that's good.
Yeah, you are studying double degree in mathematics also.
Yes.
So, what about the herd immunity? Ooh.
Well, I mean, I'm quite new at everything, including the university lifestyle. So I might not. I didn't heard about it.
You didn't hear about herd immunity? Herd immunity? You didn't listen that term?
Herd immunity? You mean herd immunity?
Herd. Is that right, Emilie? I am pronouncing it okay. You know my English is far away.
It's
herd immunity. And could you please, Emilie, explain what? Because I'm looking for a video, and this is a question of mathematics. I'm going to show. Emilie, go ahead. Explain what is the
herd immunity is basically that you need a certain percentage of all people of the population to get vaccinated or be protected against like a virus, for example, COVID, right? In order to keep like the rest of the population that can't get vaccinated safe. I think that number is around 80%. So yeah, you gotta get like there and then have like no cases, and then everyone can kind of be safe. Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah, go.
I didn't know the term was that, but I heard about that thing itself.
As you say, you're gonna study mathematics. I was thinking in showing that lovely video. It's gonna go on the screen. I will share with you the link. One guy that put something like 1,000. It's on the screen now. You're not seeing it, but I will explain. Like 1,000 different balls of what's the name of this ping pong balls with a mouse trap under the ball. Then he leaves the ball in one place, and if you are not on herd immunity, almost all the mouse traps clap and explode. But if you are on herd immunity, more than 80% of the population has been vaccinated. This is emulating it. Only a few persons get contaminated due to that. The virus is not able to cross by one person to the other. It's a very interesting thing.
It's very curious how mathematics, which may seem very abstract, at the end of the day get so related with everyday stuff. Like, I believe it's very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, it was some kind of thing about talking that we're in Spain, at least we are something like 83% of the population already vaccinated. I'm pretty sure in Canada should be around. Emilie?
I'm not sure about like Canada as a whole, but I know in my province it's around like 83% of 12 and up.
That's it. So, same for Spain. And Janiru and Sri Lanka and Merul in India, I'm not pretty sure. But what I remember is another bad thing is that US is still lagging at 53%, but they are in 50 since 4 months ago, and they are still in 53%. Why? Because people do not want to get vaccinated. Okay, this is another question to talk. Let's gonna start with the questions we have for today's show, and the first one to go is you, Emilie. So what do you want to explain us today?
So I was gonna talk, because this is our first podcast of the summer, I was gonna talk about what I was up to over the summer. So what I was doing was attending the Summer Research School program, which is hosted by the Bulgarian High School Summer Institute, or Student Institute for Mathematics and Informatics, which is a very long name. But what it is, it's a program that takes in about 40 Bulgarian and international students to pursue an intensive research program over the summer break. So in past years, everyone kind of goes to Bulgaria, but this year, because of COVID, we all participated, at least for the international students, we did it all online. And there was a 10-hour time difference, so I will confess that I skipped some of the 6 a.m. lectures. But I still had an amazing time, and I gained many valuable experiences, like learning to write academically, creating my own research, and hanging out with other like-minded youth. So my project specifically was kind of around probabilistic primality testing, which is, in layman's terms, they're tests that differentiate prime numbers from non-prime numbers. And basically, these are essential in modern cryptography because they ensure the security and reversibility of encryption and decryption, all these fancy crypto systems. For the number theory inclined, I analyzed specifically Fermat, Euler, Solovay-Strassen, and the Miller-Revin tests specifically. And what I did was I looked at the accuracy, or the number of composite numbers that were marked as prime, and the efficiency, or like the running time of each of these tests. And I also proposed my own variant of the AKS test, which I don't think anyone really talks about. But yeah, it's basically replacing all these computationally expensive parts and making it a lot faster. So I'm reducing the bounds from software of like log n 15 divided by 2 to like log n something like 5, which is a lot faster. And this is a bit less effective than some of the probabilistic tests, but it's an interesting research thing to look into.
So,
and of course,
yeah,
go.
Go.
I know you can go.
No, you're finishing.
Okay. And of course, to make this tangentially kind of related to GCI and open source, everything is open source on GitHub at cubish/srs, but you don't need to look at that. But overall, I really, really liked this program because it was my first research experience, and I gained a lot of valuable skills and insights regarding the whole academic procedure. And though I wish the program were longer and I wish that like I could have gone there in person, it would have been like really nice to get to know people. But I'm really proud of kind of the work I did over the summer. And it was really interesting to work on such like theoretical applications, since I usually kind of do software dev and like front end, and that's very application focused. So yeah, I'm really happy I had an amazing opportunity over the summer.
Very nice. So you say that this was focused in cryptography because it was a matter of exchanging numbers. Yeah. So you are also thinking in going this way. This way is like Jan mathematics with computer science.
Yeah, because in UBC you can also combine your major and have kind of like a double major, but it's like you do kind of courses from both sides. So I was originally thinking about math as well, but then I also kind of realized that like some parts of it aren't really interesting to me, and I'd rather just take the parts that are interesting and like maybe not have that as like my main focus. But yeah, crypto and like kind of number theory related things are all really cool. But yeah, they're just like cool puzzles to work on.
What do you think, guys, starting from Janiru, what do you think about crypto in our present world and in the future world? Janiru, what do you think?
So the cool thing is, I'm participating in a cryptographic contest in October 15. It's called Reply Challenges. Anyone know that? It's an international competition about cryptography and capture the flags stuff.
Very nice.
Oh, that's really cool.
Very nice. And Merul, what do you think about, in general? I mean, crypto rules the world. Cryptography, not crypto. Those are different things.
Yeah,
they are based on the same stuff, but they are very different things. On cryptography, yes. What do you think, Merul?
It's extremely important, and it's evolving constantly, especially with okay, because of cryptocurrencies, crypto in general has also expanded a lot. Cryptography stands to benefit from those cryptocurrencies. As new technologies are added, they can be derived from them. Especially, I was investigating into BIP39 mnemonics a little while back, where you're given a phrase, and that phrase can be used to create a seed, and that seed can be used to create a key pair. And then basically, if you lose the keys, and if you still have the phrase, you can derive the same key pair from that, so you never lose that. It was such an interesting concept for me when I first studied it, and I studied the inner workings of it. It's fascinating, and that was, I think, brought on by certain cryptocurrencies, and it's extremely interesting to see since how these things are coming back into cryptography.
I don't remember, but I think there is a full startup doing that stuff. I mean, you record the phrase just to recover your wallet password. I mean, there are companies doing that, like software as a service. No, is that correct?
I'm not sure about that, but I think Bitcoin had started with the BIP39 mnemonic thing, where you create ED25519 key pairs out of that.
Yeah, I'm not too much, or I would say almost nothing in the crypto stuff. I know how it works, of course, but I remember I'm trying to find it, but I will not find it as soon as. And there is a company doing an add-on for some crypto wallets that does that. And you, Janiru, Jan, do you have any Bitcoin in under your bed?
Well, I'm not gonna say that in front of tens of thousands of people.
At least 10,000,
yeah,
at least.
No, but what I wanted to say, I'm quite. I don't know a lot about cryptography, but I know that quantum computers will be able to, at least theoretically, break what is thought as today's paradigms of cryptography, because their computing capacity will be able to break private and public keys authentication very quickly. And yes, a couple of days ago, I talked with a guy that is studying the same double major as I did, and he was doing a working research as the final research. He was studying several options in front of this cryptography or classic cryptography in order to solve mainly this problem, that quantum computers were going to be able to break quite easily those algorithms.
So we have talked a few about quantum in this or little program, but you remember that we have a very close friend, Jan. You attended a meet we have, a secret meet we have with a person from IBM.
I did.
You
I
did?
certainly did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. I arranged this for you all, and let's make a round of questions. Janiru, do you want to have a special show related to the quantum computer stuff?
Yeah.
Emilie?
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Only interesting. Only. Amazingly, it will be what's the name? It will be yes no. It will be many states between Merul.
Yes and no at the same time is interesting. The word is interesting.
Yeah, it's dual or many, not only two, but many different states simultaneously and continuously moving. I'm trying to find some pictures of my friend Paco, and because I have plenty of pictures of him, and I think I've said this on the show. I have the opportunity to visit many times his offices in the north of Manhattan, outside Manhattan. So I will try to my leads. Let's gonna try to make one show in the autumn that Paco can attend. He's living in US, so I think this hour will be okay for him. And let's gonna talk quantum. That's good to know. Okay, so thank you, Emilie, for your collaboration, and let's go to the next one. That is you, Janiru. What are you gonna talk today about?
Hello. Today I'm gonna talk about Hacktoberfest 2021. So it's a contest that I'm participating these days. Actually, it started 10 days ago. So it's called Hacktoberfest 21, and it's not the first time happenings. It so its contest happens over 1 month in October, which mainly encourages people to contribute to open source. So which is really awesome. Lots of people contribute during this month for open source organizations, and for if someone contributes more than 4 pull requests, they get some cool swags such as Hacktoberfest stickers and t-shirts. Some of the people come to get the swags, but like most of the people come because it's a really amazing and fun experience to work with, to contribute to open source. And last year, as I remember last year, we were able to contribute to any open source repository, but the problem was some people started to do some spam pull requests, and this time there were some limitations for us, such as if we are going to contribute to a repository that needed to have that Hacktoberfest tag, because else the organizer of that repository would like if some people add spam pull requests, it will be hard for that the organizer of that repository. And yeah, it's still not over. There will be 20 days more, so if anyone is watching and interested in participating Hacktoberfest, you can go to hacktoberfest dot can't remember. So there's a Discord server and a website, and you can just register using your GitHub account, and no need of other stuff. Just register, and you can do the pull requests and stuff using your GitHub account. And if you get lucky, you will get some cool swags as well.
So the most important thing are the swag. Swag is on the screen. So stickers. Developers want stickers. I always want stickers.
Yeah. I have loads of stickers on my laptop.
That's good to know. I used to do when I went. I'm talking in the past tense, but I'm doing it again to live conferences. I used to bring bags of stickers, and everyone in the room gets not one but many stickers, because I say, okay, I bring this to Imagine Turkey, and I don't want to go to have these stickers back. So please get rid of this from me. So stickers are very important. I remember. Emilie, do you participate in other years? I remember you talked about this festival last year.
I talked about like the whole thing with the spam pull request last October.
I remember that. Yeah, because we're doing quite a lot, and this year we will come back. So Merul, what is your opinion about this kind of contest? You're a critical man, so what is your opinion about doing that kind of participation?
It's an excellent initiative by DigitalOcean. This year, they've actually cracked down a lot on these spam repositories. I was also participating, and I was seeing some activity in their Discord. What happened was a lot of people created extremely creative repositories where what you have to do to win is you need to add your name to a JSON file. It would be enter name here. You enter that, open a pull request, and that counts towards the contest. So what they did was they have a whole reports portal now where the admins have gone through a lot of projects, and people are just doing it for the t-shirt and the stickers and whatever. But open source organizations do tend to benefit from this a lot, especially in October. They'll receive a lot of pull requests and a lot of contributions, especially with smaller projects where it tends to be a bit easier to contribute, where there's not much technical debt involved and you can kind of freestyle your way into it. So it's better for beginners. But it does benefit a lot to open source in general. But there would obviously be the people who would try to cheat in this contest to just get that swag.
That's crazy, because only to get some swag. Okay, let's gonna talk about the how many time you have to devote to just attach some text to a JSON file and upload it to GitHub. It will take you at least, if you know how to do it, will be 5 minutes, and if you don't know how to make it, it will be maybe it takes you a couple of hours. So for getting a sticker, that's too much, and you learn a lot. You learn how to join two files, you need a GitHub account, you have to upload. So this is serious. There will be people that for them will be a real effort. Jan, do you have your own GitHub account?
I do. I don't use it very often, but I do. I do have an account.
You have to change this. You have to upload your own stuff to GitHub. Remember, Merul is going to talk about this later, but GitHub can be used for many things. One of the things is, just if you don't know how to attach a string to a JSON file, just use Copilot. Let's go talk on this later. Okay, so Janiru, anything else from you?
Nope.
Emilie, what's your opinion about the? I know you participated and you explained us, but what's your opinion about the Hacktoberfest and similar festivals?
I think it's in general really good for open source, and I think the way DigitalOcean learned from last year and they kind of cracked down on all the spam. Like you have to have either pull request accepted or like labeled as Hacktoberfest merge. And if you get like marked as spam, like I think twice, then you're just out of Hacktoberfest. And I think that's pushing people to make like actual quality contributions and not just like rewarding like rewarding like a project name from being like this awesome project, like this super awesome project. Like, you know, having like actual quality, like pushing people to do quality code changes, even in like small ways. I think it's like a good move for open source.
I think also it is. And it's nice I see you doing plenty of stuff continuously, doing programming and participating in that kind of activities. So thank you, Janiru, for your contribution, and let's go to Merul. Let's talk about an artificial intelligence that grows the code for you. Is that it?
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Kind of.
It was actually it's a perfect segue from talking about GitHub to now GitHub Copilot. So we all know what GitHub is, I assume. And so they're recently released, well, recently as in like 5 months ago or something.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it pretty long back, but then we did not have an episode due to Google Summer of Code because we were all busy there. So, well, here it is now. So GitHub Copilot is basically a code completion engine which uses AI to look across all the open source repos, and it is trained using those to auto-complete your code for you, write a function, complete a function, and all of that cool stuff. And it appears cool on the surface till the time you don't consider the details of it and how it is training that algorithm. So the Free Software Foundation argued that this is basically stealing/plagiarizing the code, and it directly is in violation of many open source licenses and many free software licenses, such as the GPL licenses in general. It's a cause for concern, because if you can't hold your licenses as something which is legally bounding, then I don't know what can you in cases of free and open source software. And I would argue GitHub Copilot is a regressive step in free and open source software movement in free software movement in general, especially where it's violating those licenses and stealing other people's code without their consent. And another thing is, a lot of people were like that you won't need programmers anymore, but then you should go and check out, I think it's r/programmer humor, where it was filled with like weird auto completions where there was a switch case and like there was a function to check odd numbers, and it auto completed as like 1 billion entries where it was checking if 1 return true, if 2 return false, and it completed with those 1 billion entries in case to check an odd number or something. So I would say coding is a creative form, since a lot of times you'll have to hack your solution. There would be no correct way to do it. There are a lot of ways to approach it. And something as abstract as finding solutions, I don't think AI is there yet. And it's just bad in general. Like, stealing is never encouraged. Stealing other people's work is bad, especially when they don't want you to steal it this way. When they have those licenses involved, such as GPL on their repositories. It just makes those licenses worthless if GitHub themselves would just start stealing code in general.
I know.
I would love to hear other people's
I
opinions
know
on
you
this.
were gonna be so critic with this because I agree 100% with you. But I'm reserving for the last word. So, Dan, do you have an idea about this? What is Copilot and?
I didn't know about it, but what I've heard, I don't really like it. I mean, if someone knows how to program, they probably won't need GitHub Copilot. And if they do not know about it, it doesn't help them either because they don't learn. So
The important point here is that if you use Copilot, you don't need to know how to join the two strings and upload it to GitHub because Copilot does it automatically, and I'm pretty sure it does well because it's so easy to do. So, Evan, you still have to learn Copilot, but you don't have to do anything else. Emilie, what's your opinion about this?
I definitely agree with the point where like violating GPL licenses and like licenses in general is bad because it's like you're assigning like your own copyright and they're just like taking your IP like from you, right? So that's wrong. But I think kind of looking beyond GitHub Copilot specifically, I think, have you guys heard of like Kite or something? I think it's called Kite. It's like an AI like code completion tool that kind of like it does contextual like autocomplete. So I guess the example on their website I remember is like if like path exists and you can join the path or something. I think stuff like that is beneficial for programmers because that's kind of just like you know what you want to do. You're just kind of like speeding it up for yourself. But I think like as Merul said, like AI is not quite there for like generating solutions yet. So I think like working towards AI autocomplete and like AI solution generation are kind of two different problems.
I don't think
If it's getting rid of boilerplate, then I think it's fine.
No, go.
Like there's a lot of. Sorry.
Go. Sorry, Merul, go. Go with your comments.
So if it just completes the boilerplate stuff that a lot of code has, I know React has a lot of boilerplate, especially when you're dealing with Redux. There is a lot of boilerplate when it comes to Express and Nest.js. If it gets rid of those, it's fine. But like when it's downright plagiarizing functions from GPL stuff, that's where I have my main problems at.
Okay, Janiru, do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, so that Copilot I just heard about. I hadn't heard about it earlier, so it sounds very cool. But think that like anyone can use Copilot, and that technically he's not a programmer. That he just wrote the code using Copilot, right? Like you can't be a programmer just using Copilot.
No, that's not true. So explain again, Merul, what exactly does Copilot? I'm showing the screens and it shows up on the screen that, but it's something like a knowledgeable, my English is faulty here, knowledgeable autocomplete. No, Merul?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's like you should know a bit of coding at least, so that you can at least like guide the engine. What it does, it auto completes for you. Let's say you're writing in Python. Let's say def check is odd, and then it would auto complete the rest of the thing. You can like use its suggestion or whatever, and then it would auto complete like the other million lines which check up to a million or something. That if something is odd or even, so. That's what it does. That's a really bad example, but that's what it does.
Only writing the name of the function, it auto completes all your code.
It tries to.
The name
first. It tries to.
So it's based on the name of the function.
Name of the function, or I think it was the doc string. The name of the function, or the JS doc or doc string. I don't know what the language agnostic term for it is, but like the documentation that you write over a function so that it comes when you type it in the suggestion box.
Okay, so let's dive in the point. I'm going to show one logo. You're not showing, but I will explain. OpenAI. This is the bad guy on the conversation. Who's OpenAI, Merul?
I am not aware of them.
Yeah, you are. You are. Emilie, go.
Oh, they're the company. I think Elon Musk was like a part of like the fancy founding team or something.
Yes.
And they're like a company that purportedly works towards making AI like more open and kind of like more accessible, but also putting a lot of restrictions on it so it doesn't become too powerful. But yeah.
Exactly. This is the point. OpenAI is the company behind Copilot. Okay, it's not a matter of only GitHub. The question is that Copilot is powered by OpenAI. You can see his logo just on the website. The question is that OpenAI has an amazing money from many different partners, and one partner I know Merul loves a lot. It starts with M and ends with T. Who is the one giving millions to OpenAI? Microsoft. Microsoft. So let's talk about the way OpenAI works. So what are you talking about? GPL what? So license? You were talking about this is free software and I cannot get it from a public repository and do whatever I want? Not you're talking about free software. So this is the way Microsoft acts with the free software. There are plenty of other applications. OpenAI has like plenty of nice applications, and Copilot is one very it's a very nice one for people. It helps, but with the money from Microsoft and other partners and the little pocket of Elon Musk, they are doing very strange things. Like, for example, what's the name, Emilie, of the one you mentioned, Kai?
Oh, it's just Kai.
Kai. So also they have plenty of other instances. People is developing with OpenAI. So guys, you can go to OpenAI and get a free access. OpenAI.com, and you can request an access. They will see a little bit of your portfolio on the internet, and they will give you access, and you can use the APIs till a certain number of requests for free. And there are plenty of people doing stuff around this, and it's very interesting. For example, if you are writing other things, not code, like a blog post, or imagine you're in the press, or you are, I don't know, you just go there and you give the code, you give to the application one slight idea what you want to write. I want to talk about the volcano in La Palma, Spain. You just say that and the program automatically fills up dozens of pages with this idea. I mean, not write only code. This is Copilot, but they have applications writing words. It's crazy. But let's talk about another thing. I want to say that this is something like the Google at the very start. So what they are doing is just scrapping all the sites in public with public code repositories and doing stuff. But also they are getting plenty of, like Google, plenty of millions and millions and millions of whatever. Words, music, images, videos, and applying artificial intelligence to this. And this is going to be a mess. And remember, we are not far away of this Terminator movie stuff because OpenAI, they say it's going to be like the computer in Terminator that will start the end of the humanity. Oh. Okay. I see you don't have any comments on the Terminator stuff?
I'm going to use this automatic text generator to write my script next podcast. No, let's see how it works.
You can do it. I already did a real-time, not scripted program in the program that your father goes here in the ADA, like me, in UFM, and I write the full program only with one sentence. So, and I did it live on the radio station. I bring my laptop and I say to the other guy, "What do you want to talk about? Just this? Okay, let me write it." And then the computer with OpenAI write all the script. Okay, sometimes it's like Copilot. Sometimes the variables are not in the right whatever I mean, it's not perfect. It's less than perfect, but okay. So Jan, let's go for you. What do you have to talk to us today?
You were talking about bad artificial intelligence, but I think we're still a little bit far from there, and then I'm gonna be talking about bad non-artificial intelligence. So I'm gonna be talking about the last iOS vulnerability that Apple publicly released, or they said it was fixed this last September. You may have heard it, but today I'm going to be talking about what was it, what parts of the operating system affected, and who seems that it's behind it. So it all started with a security statement on September 14th where Apple announced several vulnerabilities, and one of them, it was related with core graphics, and it affected specifically the iMessage app. In the security statement, they did not know it affected the iMessage app, but a Canadian group called Citizen Lab, which has a very well reputation, they said that iMessage was the point that was the security flaw. Now, why was that vulnerability so controversial, and why did it go all over the news? There are every day, or I wouldn't say every day, but very often there are a lot of vulnerabilities. Every system has them, and it gets updated, and anything happens, they do not get on the news. But this one, it was very special, but it was a special case because it was what it's called a zero-day vulnerability. A zero-day, it's especially dangerous because developers do not know the existence of that vulnerability. And if they do not notice anything strange, and if the exploit is stealthy and it is not noticed, it may last in the system for months or even years. In this case, this specific vulnerability was found to have been discovered since last February. So that's more than 7 months without people noticing that there was this vulnerability, and that's quite a big threat. So every time cybersecurity experts say or claim that we have to update systems in order to be protected, but when there are this type of attacks or exploits that there is not even an update for it, it's almost impossible to be protected. Now, this exploit, it wasn't only a zero-day exploit, but it was also a zero-click exploit. This means that this code, in order to be executed, it didn't need any user interaction. That is also a very dangerous type of attack because hackers, or I wouldn't say hackers, cyber delinquents can access your systems without any of your interaction. And you can be extremely cautious still infected. That's, I believe, two of the main points why this vulnerability was so popular, was all over the news. Now, what did exactly do? As Apple quoted in their security statement, processing a maliciously crafted PDF leads to arbitrary code execution. And in the security statement, they also claim that Apple was aware that a report that this vulnerability was actively exploited. So that means that users were affected by this vulnerability, and now investigations are being in order to determine the impact of the attack. Behind this thing, there is a group which they have not publicly accepted, neither dismissed, but it is thought that there is a group called NSO Group. You may have heard of them. They are quite famous or quite controversial, and it's an Israeli-based technology company that sells spyware, let's call it spyware, to governments in order to fight theoretically against terrorism and in order to prevent security attacks. This software is called Pegasus, and in this case, Pegasus used this specific vulnerability that affected this iOS version. But Pegasus has been out with several other exploits, and I would like to stand out that there's a difference between the software itself, which could be Pegasus, and then every modification, once the iOS or the operating system gets updated, there are new exploits, or there can be new exploits that can access the operating system. But it is thought that NSO Group is behind that attack. Again, as I was saying before, what we can learn from this scenario or this past event is that despite the fact that we have our systems updated and we try to be cautious, we are not safe in the internet, and we have to be even more cautious, and we have to update even quicker than as fast as we can, because even without accomplishing or following all the rules or all the recommendations that they ask, we have thought or we have seen that we are not protected in the internet. So what do you think about it?
Merul.
I was wondering if it is the same NSO group which was linked with Pegasus, and John confirmed about that. So it was in the news recently also that there was a leaked list of phone numbers which were being attacked by NSO by governments to spy on journalists in countries. And a lot, like there were like, I think 200 in India or 50 in India. Sorry, I'm missing the figure. But it was quite a controversy here. And these state-mandated hacks are just not good if they're done to suppress people like journalists, at least. So what I have to say here is that it kind of validates that you should not update as frequently as possible, but like when you know there's like a vulnerability that has been fixed, or there's like a known security fix done, especially like Windows just forces you to do that. On Linux you have the freedom to when you can update, like you can choose to stay on an LTS channel, or you can choose to stay on a rolling release or bleeding edge. It's basically totally up to you. And it also further validates the notion that you should be using open source software, since this could have been discovered in its tracks while it was still in beta or in nightly or whatever release channel, instead of when it came out to public. So I know mobile operating systems which are open source are still a problem as of now, where the closest thing getting to that is with the Librem project. But I would be quite excited to see that. So I guess even if you practice good OPSEC, but you're using something like iOS or Android, you're doomed if the Apple or the Google developers get it wrong.
Emilie?
I actually have an iPhone, so it's like kind of concerning to like hear all of these like security things, especially since like I don't really pay attention to the security of my phone, which I probably should, but like I don't really use it for much. So yeah, it's like, as Merul said, it's kind of concerning that like you can't catch any of these things because they don't really have betas, or they don't tell you that you're like in a beta, at least. And then yeah, it would have been better for all these things to have been caught like in testing or something. But yeah, that's the nature of proprietary software.
I mean, there were.
Janiru has left us.
Yes, Apple has a program, a security bounty program, in order for researchers to submit vulnerabilities that they found out. But I read that several people publicly or they sent several vulnerabilities, and Apple did not take any credit or didn't even listen to them. And then they finally decided to publicly release those vulnerabilities in order for Apple to realize that they should listen to those programmers, that instead of selling that vulnerability to bad people, they send it to them.
It is good that Janiru left the meet, because suddenly your image, Jan, is perfect. Now you're looking, or maybe somewhere in your house has stopped to use Netflix, because you look perfect now.
I don't know.
Yeah, he looks perfect.
You've been wherever you was talking.
Yeah,
It was
mind
very bad video and also audio, but now you look great. So,
Well, that's good.
Janiru, do you have an idea or any comment on this security stuff?
No.
No, Janiru, you're like Emilie. You don't take care about the vulnerabilities on your phone.
I don't have a phone exactly.
You don't have a phone.
Nope.
But you have a Windows operating system.
I have around two computers at home. Like
How many?
I have a
How many you have?
Exactly, I have around 6.
And how many of them you use yourself?
Like 3 most of the time. Like
And
I use my laptop.
Linux or Windows or Mac?
Like I use Linux and Windows dual booted, and I tried Windows 11 on my laptop, and like it's very hard to use and it really sucks, to be honest. So I'm planning to downgrade into Windows 10 again.
I have it running on a laptop, and it was right. It's exactly the same stuff done before, just putting the icons in the middle.
Yeah, I think the difference between 10 and 11 is like the animations look really cool, right? The transitions and animations, they look cool, but I think they should call it like Windows 10.1
No, they
instead of
have
like
to call
11.
it Mac, like the Jan's computer, because it's just like a Mac. Somebody's calling on my home and the phone is ringing. Just it's like a Mac now, because even they have some background images similar to Mac. So, okay, let me give you my 3 seconds on the security stuff, Jan. It's every big company that has, I mean, I will say the largest ones in computer software, they have programs for hackers to look for problems, bugs, vulnerabilities in their code. Most of them will give you something like $1 million if you find a real. They have a different levels of reporting, and if you find something really bad, they will give you $1 million. And there are people continuously sending bugs and not just a JSON script on GitHub. I mean, real people getting real money. You can find some documentaries on internet that for people that his only job is being a white hacker, a hacker for good, just finding bugs in real software. But the Pegasus stuff is the NSO group, just the logo is on the screen. It's a very bad stuff, man, because this is Merul said that there was plenty of press journalists in India. All the places in the world has happened. Plenty of people, politics, journalists, you name it, have this little stuff on their phone. And the question is that not even Apple can get rid, or Google can get rid of the software. So these guys are up on them. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're extremely good.
They're extremely good, but they are concerned because who are the buyers of this company? Mostly the governments, because they ask for lots of money, enormous quantities of money, and hardcore deals. Okay, guys. So let me go for a little bit for my stuff. I just wanted to show the liquidgalaxy.eu or community page with the Google Summary of Code post. So Google Summary of Code end on middle August, and my brief is going to be something like this. This year has been crazy, just up here, because it changes plenty of things. I will ask you, Emilie and Merul, for your experience. Janiru was not too much involved, and Jan also was not. But for me, as the main administrator of the program, it was, I don't want to say a mess. I don't want to say a mess, but it was really difficult, because Google changed a lot the things last year. Something simply halving. I mean, half the time, half the money. And this is, in theoretically, it's going to be good, but I imagine all the projects have to adjust their way to how to do this, the same stuff in other years, 3 months period in 1.5 month period. and it's been hard. And also, we have 12 interns. Last year we were 8, and this year we were 12, so more people. This means more students, more mentors, more job. And the typical thing that, Andreu, how are you this summer? What are you doing for vacations? I say, what? Vacation? What is this word? I have more than 30 people around 10 countries in the world doing projects, and I don't have any second, because they are also in many different time zones. So it's been a hard, but also of course it's rewarding. You know, we have 12 different projects, and here on the screen is the main image with the students and also the mentors. Janiru, Emilie was there like trainee mentors still, and Merul finally got his mentorship status because he's 18 now. And we have plenty of projects. More than 70 contacted us to get an intern, but we go for 12. This was a lot. We'll see next year how it goes. But this was a regarding experience. Could you please share with us, Merul, how was your first experience as mentor in GSOC?
It was extremely good. I don't have any reference point, unfortunately, to tell if it was better when there was a 3-month
it was your first year.
Yeah. So, as far as I can tell, it was quite hectic, especially for people who had to manage multiple projects. Especially, I saw with Andrew, he had to hop on and off between so many meetings. I can only imagine how troubling it could have been. So
I am used to. Remember that I handle students all year long. I'm not a teacher, but last year I have 150 students doing stuff the whole year. So, what's your opinion? What's your...
For me, it was a new experience, and I was extremely excited for it, especially with I was able to chip in a bit, see the code, how it's developing, see it progress, have those weekly meetings where we discussed about it. And it was an extremely unique experience, like it's not comparable to anything I had ever experienced in the past. And it was extremely fun for me seeing the whole project develop, and in the end, it to turn out to be a success.
I would say that most of the projects were successful for first year. No, it was not. This is not true. We had this situation a few years ago. The same stuff. One lady she was a lady, has to leave the program just 2 weeks before it ended for personal COVID reasons, and it was sad. She became ill, and she can continue with the code development. Emilie, you attended plenty of meets also. What's your opinion? What was your...
I didn't attend any meets this year, but I was doing a bunch of like bug testing.
Okay,
and, like,
that's right. I say meets, but this is you do test on different programs, and you give back. Yeah, how was this?
I kind of just like, most of it was over email, so people would just like email me like screenshots or like, download link for this, and then I kind of just like spin up my VMs and like give it a whirl. I found like the process of kind of testing things kind of different from what I did last year, because last year was when I was attending the meets. But this year, kind of having the perspective of like the average user going in to install things for the first time, I think it allowed me to kind of see like the other perspective of like building software like for the user, and like learning to think as a user would. Because like I already have some experience with Liquid Galaxy, but like when I was trying to give feedback, like what would a person who had like no idea like what Liquid Galaxy was installing this, like how would they feel? And I think I can kind of like apply those skills like the rest of software development. So it was a really great opportunity.
Good. Janiru, do you attend any meeting? I remember you do at the very beginning of GSOC.
As I remember, I attended one or something, but I was kind of busy this year, so I attended all of the meetings last year, and last year it was a really great and fun experience. Like it was very similar to GCI, but being a training mentor is a really good experience.
Yeah. So let's gonna talk about the last thing I'm gonna say. It was just written on the script, and sorry, I have to try to switch off some stuff. It's giving me some sounds. So, you know, plenty of people from around Spain and the world is sending me emails or WhatsApps talking about one Netflix show. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you have Netflix, Janiru?
Squid Game?
No, Squid Game is for playing. This is so violent. Merul, do you know what I'm talking about? No. Emilie, Jan. So, guys, you have a show to see, and you and all the people that is going to see this, you have a show to see in Netflix because I'm going to show it on the screen. Netflix has just released a show. It's a mini series of, I think it's 6 episodes only, called The $1 Billion Code. And this is the history behind Google Earth. And Liquid Galaxy appears on the show. The $1 Billion Code in Netflix. Maybe in your country it's not available, I imagine it is. But you can go and see it because they talk about, and it's very, very interesting to see. I know already, but there are some. This is a show, television show. Okay, so it's based on real stuff, but not 100%. Nobody knows. It seems that there were some guys in Germany that at the end of the starting of the 90th 2000. They think about to develop a software called TerraVision that was exactly the same that Google Earth. So Google, at something like 10 years later, developed the real Google Earth based on web that you can reach from wherever place you go from the world. And then after this, Liquid Galaxy appeared. Liquid Galaxy here. And it's very nice to see. Just go to Netflix and spend some of your precious time. You're going to enjoy it. And there are a few appearances of a Liquid Galaxy because they show up some multiple screens of the globe running like a Liquid Galaxy. They don't talk about this is a Liquid Galaxy. They just show up. But then you see the Liquid Galaxy. I just have a very nice conversation with our colleagues from, I would say, the real senior mentors of the community. That's Andreu from Australia, Jason, that was one of the original code creators in Google. He's no longer in Google. And Ben from Endpoint Corporation in New York. And we have a nice conversation just at the end of the talking about the show. And please go Netflix and see the show because you're going to enjoy a lot. Okay, anything else you want to say, to mention? No? Okay. We are almost an hour record. That's a lot. And I only want to say that for next recording, hopefully we will have Victor Sanchez, Google developer expert in HTML and very close friend of mine, a mentor of this Google Summer of Code. And he's going to be with us and he will explain and he will share some open source thoughts with us and show and be with us on the conversation. So thank you for attending, guys, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.